Dust. It's everywhere. Sometimes you barely notice it, and other times you feel as if you're in a dust storm. Where does it all come from? Most workplace activities generate or disturb at least some dust. You can probably think of a handful of examples in your industry and others with little effort. Consider these common dust-producing activities: grinding, sanding, sweeping, woodworking, textile manufacturing, and chemical or food production, to name just a few. Why should you care? Because dust can pose a variety of hazards, such as reducing your visibility and creating slippery surfaces in your work area. It can affect your breathing and cause other health problems that may last a lifetime. Dust can even lead to fires and explosions. For serious risks of dangerous or unhealthy exposure to airborne contaminants, workers are required by their employers or regulatory authorities to wear respirators for protection. Even when a respirator is not required, you might want to ask your employer's permission to wear some type of protection for comfort or peace of mind. This training focuses on good practices for the voluntary use of disposable dust masks. Your employer will also provide mandatory safe usage information and ensure you have a clean mask that does not interfere with your ability to work safely. In the United States, your employer will provide information from the Code of Federal Regulations. Click the link to review it now. After completing this course, you will be able to differentiate between types of respirators. Recognize situations in which it is a good idea to voluntarily use a dust mask. Recall how to properly use a dust mask. And determine if a dust mask is in good working order. A respirator is a device that protects you from inhaling airborne substances such as dusts, vapors, gases, and fumes. Some respirators even supply breathable air. Respirators offer varying levels of protection, so it's important that you can tell the difference between the types and understand how each works. Can you identify how these types of respirators work? Click each image of the respirator. Just as there are different types of respirators, there are different types of dust masks. Dust masks are classified by their efficiency at stopping small particles, from lowest to highest, 95, 99, or 100, and level of resistance to the effects of oil, N for not resistant, R for resistant, or P for oil-proof. Knowing the level of oil resistance is important if you work with oil-based paints and other oil aerosols. This is because oil can interfere with some masks' ability to capture fine dust. As an example, an N95 mask has the lowest level of efficiency at stopping small particles and no resistance to oil. It's the most common type for voluntary use. So common, in fact, that dust masks are sometimes referred to as N95 masks or simply N95s. Be sure to look for the mask's efficiency and oil resistance ratings and suggested use on the packaging. This will help ensure that you select the mask that does the job you want it to. You may be wondering how dust masks differ from surgical masks. Most surgical masks are not meant to be used as particulate respirators. They usually do not prevent leakage around the edge of the mask when the user inhales. Surgical masks are intended to prevent the release of potential contaminants from the user into their immediate environment. So, if you have the flu, it's a good idea to wear a surgical mask. But if you want protection from particulates, a dust mask is the way to go. It's good to have a general idea of what the information on the mask's package means. However, when it comes to choosing a mask for the job, you'll have help. If the use of respiratory protection, including dust masks, is mandatory, your employer will have a qualified person select the appropriate type of protection you need. Even when you wear a mask voluntarily, your employer can help you make the right selection. If many people voluntarily wear masks, your employer may reevaluate the work by looking at job tasks and equipment to see if there's a way to reduce the amount of dust being generated. If that doesn't work, then mask use may become mandatory. Remember, the focus of this course is voluntary use, in which you are wearing a mask for comfort or added peace of mind, when it's not a matter of life and death. Continuing with the theme of voluntary use of dust masks, you might be wondering exactly what that means. These images show scenes in which respirator protection may be voluntary or mandatory. Click each image to learn why a respirator was or wasn't required and why the worker might wear protection. Whether your employer provides respirators for your voluntary use or you provide your own respirator, you need to take certain precautions. These 4 rules ensure that the respirator itself does not present a hazard. Read and follow all instructions provided by the manufacturer in the respirator package. Learn about use, maintenance, cleaning and care, and warnings regarding respirator capabilities and limitations. Choose respirators certified to protect against the contaminant of concern. A label or statement of certification should appear on the respirator or respirator packaging. It will tell you what the respirator is designed for and how much it will protect you. Do not wear a respirator in atmospheres for which the respirator is not designed to protect against. Don't rely on your dust mask to protect you against gases, vapors, and very small particles of fumes or smoke. Likewise, don't count on it to make breathing easier in areas where there's limited breathable air. Keep track of your respirator so that you do not mistakenly use someone else's. Most disposable dust masks cannot be cleaned and disinfected. The instructions that come with your dust mask will provide the information you need to use and care for your mask. Let's make sure you can recognize situations in which it is a good idea to voluntarily use a dust mask. Read the question and then select the best answer. You're working in an area in which you are concerned about gases and vapors. Is this a situation in which voluntary dust mask use is a good idea? Keep in mind these general guidelines for using a dust mask. 8 hours of continuous or intermittent use is about the maximum useful service life for disposable dust masks. Each respirator model comes in a range of sizes. Try different brands, models, and sizes to get the best and most comfortable fit. Not all brands and models are worn the same way. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for putting on and taking off the mask. Always use both head straps provided, making sure they are correctly positioned and adjusted. The lower strap should be worn around the neck and below the ears, and the top strap should sit above the ears and around the crown of the head, securing the mask to the face. The face piece should feel snug. A proper fit and seal will help prevent unintentional leakage of contaminants during inhalation. On most dust masks, the nose piece is meant to be molded to the face for a snug fit. To get the best fit, use the index finger of each hand to press gently against the moldable strip. If your glasses fog when you exhale, check for air leakage at the nose piece. Facial hair affects the seal and will cause leakage. Let's make sure you can recall how to properly use a dust mask. Read the question and then select the best answer. How tight should the face piece of a dust mask fit to your face? Should it be loose, cut off circulation, fit snugly, or force you to breathe heavier? Manufacturer's instructions will advise you about how best to care for your mask. Store respirators where they're protected from damage, contamination, dust, sunlight, extreme temperatures, excessive moisture, and damaging chemicals. Inspect respirators before use to ensure they are clean and have all parts. Barring any manufacturer's defects, the mask will have 2 elastic straps, a moldable nosepiece, and, if so equipped, a functioning exhalation valve. Discard respirators if they are or become soiled, contaminated, or damaged, and don't allow you to breathe freely. Be aware that humidity and very dirty and dusty workplaces impact breathing resistance and shorten the life of your mask. Your dust mask will only be effective if you use it properly and ensure it's in good working order. Let's check your understanding of the good practices for the use and care of disposable dust masks. Drag each recommended action onto the checklist. Now you should be able to differentiate between types of respirators. Recognize situations in which it's a good idea to voluntarily use a dust mask. Recall how to properly use a dust mask. And determine if a dust mask is in good working order. If you're not sure whether a respirator is required for the task you will be doing, talk to your supervisor, safety professional, or respiratory protection program coordinator before entering the work area. They can also help if you have questions about what kind of respiratory protection you should be wearing, or how to take care of it, put it on, or take it off. This concludes the training.